Hey everybody, it's Dave Dugdale, learningvideo.com. I'm redoing this video. I just did it with the screen capture program and it totally crapped out on me. I was like, oh, I'm just gonna take the camera and point it at the screen and I'm gonna do it that way. Before I was talking about how I wanted to switch from Premiere Pro. Instead of paying $50 a month, I could downgrade that to like $10 a month and have Lightroom and Photoshop. And then I could use Resolve to do all my video editing and color correction. Because it seems like anytime I use Resolve to color correct or add a grade or whatever, the images always seem to come out so much better than dealing it with Premiere Pro. Now what you'll see here, let's actually go to Premiere Pro first. This is Premiere Pro, and this is the new Mini Ursa Blackmagic camera, 4.6 sensor. They have these images, these DNGs, raw DNGs you can download. I downloaded this one yesterday. And I just want to show first Playback Performance. I thought this would be kind of interesting since this is a raw DNG. I've already shown this before with red footage at I think 4 or 5K. And red footage has R3D as a different codec. But I thought I'd demonstrate that here to see how well this does in Premiere Pro with my very beefy machine. It's like an 8-core, 64 gig RAM. I got a GTX 980 Ti in there. And what I've done is downscaled it. At least the timeline is downscaled to 1080. So this is not going to be like a one-to-one kind of thing, but I just thought I'd show you the performance. So I'm going to hit play. And as you can see right there, I've already dropped 5 frames. I don't know if you can hear it when my fan kicked up. So raw DNG is a bit different than red. These guys are driving on the wrong side of the road down there in Australia. But yeah, this is kind of a cool clip they were doing. I think I should thank John Brawley, or I can't remember the helicopter pilot or drone pilot that was actually doing it. So actually, that did drop a few frames. It wasn't too bad. But the thing I love about Premiere Pro is just this right here. I can go from all these different tabs, like you can in Resolve. I could go to the color grading tab, or what I call Dave's workspace. And this right here on my 34-inch LG screen, it's on my gear page if you're interested. It's 34 inches and it's massive, just tons of real estate. And what you're seeing right here, this is 1080, 1-to-1. So whether if I want to bring this up and do it to, I see stuff down here, I can, or when I want to do it this way, I can actually see it 1-to-1, which is fantastic. But in Resolve, in at least the edit tab, again, I am not a Resolve expert, but over here, I don't know if you can see it very well, but there's a viewing mode and all these are grayed out. So I can't like Alt F on the keyboard and have it do anything. It just doesn't do anything. So that's really disappointing. So this, I'm not driving all the pixels on the screen that I'd like to in this particular viewing mode. And right here, you can see I just set it to fit. I guess I could set it to 100, but that's not, yeah, you know what, let's do that. Make it a little bit fair. I'm gonna set it, yeah, it's still not gonna make a bunch of difference. And I can't even slide this over. See, I can't, there's nothing I can do to slide this over. And I could slide this downward like this, but I can't seem to make this one bigger. So let's go ahead and hit play. You know what, let's go ahead and, I take that back. We're gonna go to fit. We'll hit play. And I saw a little bit of drop frames right there. It's not too bad. That's nice and smooth. I gotta admit, I'm somewhat impressed by this Mini Ursa. The footage I've seen so far, it looks pretty impressive. I don't know how it compares to like a Sony a7S II or anything like that, but that's playing back pretty well. I give that pretty good high marks. Again, this is a 1080 timeline. I'm not doing it in 4.6K. All right, now what I'm going to do is kind of show a difference between Premiere Pro and Resolve. So I'm going to go ahead and take this project. Let's just do the first 20 clips. Bring them in, brought them in nice and quick. I drag them onto the timeline. It should create a new sequence. And you can see, I don't know if you can see this, but they're all out of order. So I actually have to undo that. Then I have to go here, drag them down the time like this. And now they're in order, which is kind of a pain in the butt. I don't know why Adobe can't fix that. And actually what I want to do is undo that, and then I'm going to right click all these. You probably can't see this very well since this is not a screen capture, it's just a camera pointed at the screen, but I'm just going to reinterpret the footage because I shot this at 60 frames per second and I want to do slow motion. So now I pull it down the timeline, And I'm just going to say keep existing. Should be 1080. And what you'll notice here is everything is in slow motion. And also listen, everything is like, roar, the cows are coming home. So everything is in, you know, that's the way I shot it on the A7S II. You can shoot it two ways. You can shoot it without audio and in camera have it nice and slow, or you can have it with audio, play back in the camera is real time, but when you bring it in, you're gonna have to reinterpret it like I just did. All right, now I'm gonna resolve, and I've created a new document. I don't know if it'll do it this time, but this is one of the things I don't like about resolve. See this climb ABC? This is where the folder is where all those clips are stored. So I'm gonna click on it, and it pulled it up really fast. That's not usually what happens. Let me click day 2. Here's what's happening. See, I don't know if you can see that spinning beach ball, but this is what happened the first time I did it. It takes a while for it to go in. Where in Premiere Pro, it's like instantaneous. But if I take these, actually, let's go back. We're gonna do these first 20 like we did with the other ones. So drag them down the timeline, or drag them into this. I'm gonna say don't change. I'm gonna go to the edit tab. We'll take these first 20 clips, drag them onto the timeline, and you'll notice something. Let's see if it does it again. Nope, it did it in order. One of the times I did it, it was not in order. But what I'm gonna do first is let's go back to the edit page, and I'm gonna take all these clips, and then I'm going to change them under clip attributes. Instead of this, I'm just going to go to the pull down menu so we can do it in slow motion. Go back to here and then pull them all down the timeline. Now you will notice something. Pull them all in order. That's good. Now, and let's go to fit. That's fine. Right here, you'll notice something. You don't hear any cows. No more. No, nothing. There's no audio. And not only does this happen at 60 frames per second, if I would have recorded this at 24 frames a second, it would do the same thing. So when you shoot with the A7 line of cameras and XAVC-S, it doesn't bring in the audio into Resolve. I've told them about it, but they don't seem to be too concerned about us Windows people. Macintosh people, I believe this works just fine. Now there's a way around it. You can use like a I forget the name of the program. If I remember, I'll put it in the description down below. But you can rewrap it, and instead of it being like a .mp4, you could make it a .mov or something like that, and then the audio will actually import. But I'm too lazy, and this is the reason, kind of going back to the whole update of why I haven't gone to Resolve yet, is because of this. Because I shoot with all Sony cameras now, and I usually shoot, and I'd say 99% of the time, in XAVC-S. So I can't use this because I'm too darn lazy to rewrap it, then start editing. Sometimes I just like to get editing. I want to throw it on the timeline. So this is my biggest thing about Resolve. It's just, all right, Resolve has gotten a lot better, I think, over the last few iterations. Because I've got the most recent one. I just downloaded it. It's like, I'll show you. It's Resolve version 12.3.2008. So just the most recent version. So let me show you. Before it wasn't working as well, but now it seems to be working really well, even with the slow motion footage at 60 frames per second. If I take this tool, I think it's called the slip tool maybe, and I start slipping back and forth like this, you'll see a 2-up display right here, and I can find the spot that I want right here, or if I go to this clip right here, I can pull it around to where I want that to start with that kind of freaky doll looking head. Yeah, let's go like that. Maybe get that so it's not so shaky. I'm just doing these clips really fast. Let me slip this one this way. I don't know, right here maybe, let's say. And then I'm not even really paying attention to the actual edit. I'm more looking for how it's performing. And it's performing really well. Let's slip this one so it's not, yeah, like maybe right there. So in terms of playback between those cuts, I guess these are very random cuts. You can see I'm auto-focusing a little bit there. but it works pretty well. And there's a lot of different ways, and I am no pro at Resolve, but it seems like last few versions, the performance of these XAVC clips work really well in terms of using the slip tool, which is kind of really cool. And in Premiere Pro, you're going to get the same kind of performance. I usually use the B shortcut, and then I'll go like kind of like similar to what I was just doing on the last clip. I'll just use the B tool like this. I use the B. I don't even know what the B tool stands for. It's called Ripple Edit, the Ripple Edit tool. So that works really well too. The performance of this works fantastic. And I've also tried it on that mini Ursa footage, doing the same thing, even with the raw DNG files, and they work fine too. So performance-wise, it seems like in terms of editing and getting things done quickly, Resolve is definitely getting to the level of what Premiere Pro is with this type of footage. Now, like I said before, I wish you could see we have audio here, but when we go to here, I don't have anything on the audio track. And that is just such a big bummer. All right, next up, let's talk about color. Definitely Premiere Pro is getting better. I can click over the color tab. This shot looks kind of blue. I could warm it up like this, and the performance is pretty good. Usually for the most part. I ain't gonna make a lot of corrections. I could add some saturation. And saturation is one of those issues. Actually, I'm kind of a little bit too saturated. And I've filed bug reports with Premiere, and I've actually talked to the Premiere Pro team. I said, hey, your saturation slider is not working very accurately when you compare it to Resolve. And I showed them some examples, and I think they said, yeah, we know there's something up with that, but they haven't fixed it yet, which is kind of a bummer. So there's a lot of things in here on Premiere Pro, and I would guess, come NEB, things will get more evolved. But what's happening, I think, and this is my guess, I don't know knowledge of SpeedGrade at all, is I'm going to guess SpeedGrade is just going to get left behind. Come NEB, they're not going to make any changes, no additions to it, nothing. So if you want accurate saturation sliders and stuff like that, you're going to pretty much have to round trip into SpeedGrade and then come back to Premiere Pro kind of thing, which is great. That was a big leap forward when that came available a couple of 2 or 3 years ago. But now with Resolve, having all of its power is just to click over their color tab. This is a fantastic tool. This has way more power. I mean, it's got hue versus hue. SpeedGrade doesn't have hue versus hue. Like, let me show you if I can find it really quick. This is hue versus hue. So if I wanted to take, let's say, this green color, for instance, like right here, and I wanted to shift that hue, I could make it bigger or whatever. There's no way to do this within, especially if this is like skin tone, or like, all right, let's actually let's do this properly, somewhat properly. Here's your skin tone. Let's say you wanted to change the hue of it. Let's say it was bad lighting. I'd really actually make a primary on this before I do this, but you could actually change the hue of it. Let's see it's going towards green right there. I don't know how well you can see this. This is not a very good way of screen capture. Or you could make it more magenta, or you could fix something. So if there was green in it, you could pull the green out. Well, you can't do that in Premiere Pro, can't do that in SpeedGrade. The tracking tool in this is just freakishly good. It's so fast in Resolve, whereas if I wanted to track, let's say, a pair of eyes back and forth, or a face, unless somebody's doing an interview, and let's say that interview, is so many minutes long, there's no way I would do that in Premiere Pro because it's so slow. But in Resolve, it's like, it just plows through the frames so fast, and it's accurate. It's got that 3D tracker, and I love it. But again, it all comes back to, why don't you give Windows users the way to import audio with, these type of cameras? These are popular. So if you're watching this, Blackmagic, please. Notice up here, I've got a mounting bracket for a second monitor, and within Resolve, you really do need a second monitor. Like I've talked about before, I can make this bigger and smaller, and I can also go into the in terms of the full frame viewer like this. But when you're in a second monitor, you'll actually have all this stuff here. So you really need like, I think it's called the Blackmagic Mini Monitor. I've actually had it in for review. It works pretty well. You just put it into your computer and then run like HDMI or SDI to your monitor. And then it fills the entire screen, which is great. So with Resolve, you're really kind of forced to have a second monitor, and that's why I'm kind of looking at one right now. So that's pretty much it. I mean, the biggest downside, the biggest update of why I haven't gone to Resolve yet is because of the whole audio issue in the Windows platform. But if anybody out there on the Mac side has decided to leave Premiere Pro and use the free operating system from Resolve, or not operating system, but editing system from Resolve, let me know. I'd be kind of curious to see how that is working out for you. Because they're putting a lot of great features in Resolve. The light version, it's so powerful. I wish I could use it. So that's pretty much it. This is the second time I've done this video, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.